Hi, and welcome back to my tricycle life. The back sway arm seems like it's loose. And that's not, I would imagine, uncommon for a bike that has over 4,500 miles on it. Plus, we did, in the last few rides, take it off-road, so, I imagine it shook itself loose. So we are going to address the problem. Hopefully, we haven't damaged any bushings in the sway arm. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be hard to address. If when we tighten up the sway arm, if we knock out most of our sway, I think we are going in the right direction. As you can see, I'm not sure how much you can see, but we have some significant sway in the back of the bike. So you might say, well, could that be from after 4,000 miles plus the bike is getting broken in? That could be part of it. Things get worn out. It happens. But the other day I noticed this sway, and I actually put my fingers where the sway bar hooks into the rest of the frame, and I can feel how loose that is. So we're gonna have to address that right now before the bike literally falls apart. And I don't want to wait until the last second. So, on our sway arm, there's gonna be two spots where tools can go into. One on this side, right there, one on the opposite side. So, and they're both Allen wrench heads. So, unfortunately, I have the size for one side. I think this side over here is a bigger size that I unfortunately don't have at the moment. But, we are gonna do our best with what we have to work with, and hopefully there's enough friction on this side to hold it still while we torque the opposite side down as much as we can. And I'm going to be taking this later on in the day to town, and I will have the guys at my local bike shop check my work. We are also going to be making sure that our other nuts and bolts are tight, such as for our shock. It could have caused a chain reaction as the drive out or sway arm, got loose. It could have put more pressure on the suspension bolts. So we're gonna check those too, or the fasteners for the rest of the rack. So, at least on this side, this takes about I think it's a size 6mm wrench. Sorry about that. This is a 5. So, and if you are interested on working on getting tools for your fat tab or whatever truck you have, you don't need to go out and buy professional grade tools like I have. I work on bikes a lot, so I tend to buy those tools because they tend to last quite a few years. I have some tools that are this brand, which is power tools that lasted over 25 years. So that kind of tells you the quality of these tools. But again, if that's not in your budget, you can go to the hardware store and buy some tools there. Anyway, they're probably just as good. And something to remember, if you buy Allen wrenches, most bikes, they are metric, so make sure you get your metric sizes. And a tip that I would like to say is, make sure you get 2 sets if you can, because, like I said, in this case, there's 2 fasteners, one on this side and one on this side, so, it's not just this specific bike. It could be other bikes that you work on that have the same feature. Before we do anything to this bike, I like to keep a habit and take off our battery from our bike, just for a habit and to be safe. We don't want our battery to have an issue with us messing with the bike. We do have some wires down here by the sway arm, so we, just in case we jab the wires and puncture the wires, that it doesn't obviously touch positive and negative and short out the battery, and heaven forbid start a battery fire, because there's really nothing that we have at home that could stop that kind of fire. It's kind of, the deal is, once a battery fire starts, all you can do is watch it burn. So with that said, be safe and just take off the battery if you have the keys for it. Most bikes have a key locking mechanism that locks in the battery to the rest of the bike. So again, be safe and sorry. So now that we have the battery off, and the bike should be okay, and start. Make sure the tool is in all the way. So that'd be a good example. It wasn't in. I'm actually turning this by hand already. It's definitely loose, so that's not good. You might be asking me, well, why did it do that? Why did it come loose like that? Well, keep in mind that, like I just discussed, that this bike in particular does have over 4,000 plus miles on it. And most of those miles are street miles, and frankly, it really hasn't gone off-road since the last couple of videos that you saw with this bike off-road. So that kind of tells you that in comparison, this bike has had a good life on the road. So another thing, actually, it's actually tightened. This side is actually tightened the swing on pretty good. You could be asking, does this bolt have a torque spec? And I imagine it does, but I looked in the manual and it really doesn't say nothing about it really doesn't say nothing about how much this can torque down. I do know that with steel bikes and with steel fasteners, you can get them pretty hand tight. Just remember, if you're working on something that is aluminum frame, aluminum fasteners, Yes, they do definitely need a torque spec on them, no matter what. So keep that in mind. I've been working on bikes a long time, and I can kind of get the feel of when enough is enough. Not everybody has that ability, so unless you really trust yourself to doing it by hand, do it. Click. I call that. So, yeah, already the bike feels 100% better. So, yeah, before, I'll show you. I'll move the bike forward. Before you can switch. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna hold it there. So, yeah, it wasn't swing as easy. I can feel more resistance as I move it. And two, it's still gonna sway because our suspension in the front is very well broken in. And, so it will help with that sway. So it will give off a false, reading or a false sway. But I don't feel it. Before, when I would do this, when I get to that point, it wouldn't stop it. It felt like it felt like it wanted to keep going. But now, it's a lot stiffer because that bolt was very loose from the start. So now that we know that was the issue, if it continues to loosen up on you, our next step would be going to the hardware store and getting some thread lock. Thread lock is something that you can put on the threads. It's kind of expensive. You can get a small tube of it for $7, $8 maybe. There's two different types, or there's a couple of different types. There's a blue, there's a red, and basically it comes in a liquid form that it's like an eyedropper. You only need like 2 drops at the max on the threads before you put the bolt back in. And what it does is, as it dries, it actually dries from a liquid to a solid state, and it locks the threads into place wherever you set them at. So it doesn't, the screw doesn't back out, or the screw or nut doesn't back out on you. But I strongly suggest do not get the red, because the red is for when you definitely don't want to have the nut or bolt back out at all. And the thing is you might say, well, I really don't. I don't want this to back out, for sure. But the problem is, your dropout inside here, there's still, like washers or, bushings that are in here that keep the two halves of the frame apart, because you don't want metal rubbing up against metal as it's pivoting. So if those were out, you're gonna have to get them replaced. And if you put red Loctite on it, whoever has to fix it is gonna have a big issue getting those nuts or bolts out to get to the washers and other things that are in there that needs to be replaced. So keep that in mind. If it still does it after the move, I think you should take it to the bike shop to get, you know, a second opinion. There might be already something wrong with it at that point that at that point needs to be replaced. You know, this isn't a hard thing to do. Obviously you saw me, you know, tighten this back up with one tool. We got lucky that we didn't have to hold the other side. And like I said, wire already back here. Tighten up the swing arm. Like I said before, we are gonna try to check the bolts and fasteners on our shock up at the upper and lower nuts and bolts. It's just a matter of finding the right sizes, and I've already found the size that over here. So you don't see the over here. There's an Allen head over here, and there's an Allen head on the opposite side. So this is gonna be a little bit tricky for me because I'm basically one-handed, so I'm gonna have to force my left hand to do some work. But this is where having two sets of Allen wrenches come in handy. Like I said, I have this tool made by Park Tools. It's like a ninja star of different size Allen wrenches. I love this tool. And there's different sizes you can buy. But so right now I'm gonna try to use my leg to stop this from turning. We'll see how that works out. So always make sure that the tool is fully engaged in your bolt head. Because it's really easy to strip the head, and you really don't want to strip your Allen heads. Well, ask me how I know. So that one seems tight, and we're gonna go check the top one. I think we addressed it in time. There's no underlying things that are popping out at me that tells me that we were too late. They need to be tight, but they don't, obviously you shouldn't be credible hulking it. So keep that in mind. So those are tight how they should be, and again, I hope that you can see that it seems more tighter. And two, something to at least with this Sunseeker, something to know that on the bottom of the shock, that's where the rack is bolted into. So again, if the rack seems to get loose, remember that's where it locks into, and if that's loose, then your shock is loose as well. So keep that under consideration. So we have two more bolts that we have for the rack, and like I said, this has multiple sizes, so it makes it easier and faster to change sizes. Click. And if you have to do that to stop from over torquing, for sure do it. Do it. Plus, it's kind of fun to act like a a torque wrench. So that I had almost a half turn on that side. It wasn't really loose, but I mean, it might have been on its way to get loose. This side was tight all the way. So again, it's nice to know that your stuff is tight, but do keep in mind that, I mean, there are fasteners, there are nuts and bolts there, and eventually vibration will probably get to them. And seeing that we fixed the issue, you might want to periodically go back and make sure it's not coming back loose. And it's good to put this kind of habit with you. When already we need to apply oil for our chain once a month. That's just in case you never knew that. It depends on how you ride your bike. The bike shop and the bike shop school will tell you it is recommended that you once a month at least, if you ride your bike a lot, to keep your chain oiled once a month, because not just especially if you go off-roading, you might want to do it more often, because dirt will collect on your chain and it'll just turn into like paste probably sometimes. You're gonna have to clean your bike a lot more, because that fine dirt could act as a sandpaper and wear out your parts, and you don't obviously want that. So if you like, you want me to make a video about what would be the best way, in my opinion, on cleaning your parts and oiling your chain, please comment down below. Let's keep this channel going, ideas going. If you have any future video ideas that you want me to look into, again, comment down below. I would love to read them. If you make it at the end of this video, thank you. Push the buttons to like, ring that bell, subscribe, and again, like I always say, don't forget your helmets, your water balls, and just have fun out there. And until the next time we talk, bye for now.